Picture clues. What happens when you need to remember words that suggest no obvious pictures? The trick is to use picture clues based on how a word sounds, what it looks like, or on an image that it suggests. You can use any picture that works for you. Imagine you had to learn the following list: US presidents since the Second World War, then the UK prime ministers, and then the presidents or chancellors, or whatever they're called, in your country. US presidents: Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, George Bush, Clinton, another Bush, Barack Obama. Here are some suggestions for picture clues, but the best ones are always those that you think up yourself. Roosevelt, a rooster traveling the world. Truman, perhaps a cricketer like Freddie Truman, or someone taking a lie detector test to prove that they are a true man. Eisenhower, maybe you simply think of ice, or it could be an ice shower. Kennedy, you could picture Barbie's boyfriend Ken, or maybe a rocket being launched from the Kennedy Space Center. Johnson, the image here could be of Johnson's baby powder, or the actor Don Johnson. Nixon, perhaps a Nikon camera, or a thief nicking something. Ford, a river crossing, or a Ford car. Carter, a man pulling a cart. Reagan, a ray gun. Bush, a bush. Clinton, Clint Eastwood perhaps. Bush, another Bush. Obama, a bomber. Well, he will eventually. Spend a few moments coming up with an image clue that works for you, for each of the 11 presidents' names. Once you have your images, learning them is as easy as learning the items on a shopping list. Simply take each one in turn, connect with the next, and build up a memorable story. You might imagine Freddie Truman, after having taken a lie detector test, still wearing his cricket gear, climbing into an ice shower, Eisenhower, only to find Barbie's plastic boyfriend Ken, Kennedy, in there already. Ken is covering himself with Johnson's baby powder, Johnson, before he poses for photographs taken using a top-of-the-range camera, Nikon camera. Nixon, the photographer, races off to get the pictures developed in his Ford car, but he's driving so fast that he crashes into a Carter. Enraged, the Carter pulls out a ray gun, and the poor photographer tries to hide in a nearby bush, but Clint Eastwood, Clinton, is already using it to hide from the Indians who are shooting arrows at them from another bush. Obama, he's bombing it all to bits. Whatever kind of story you create, run through it a few times in your mind, checking that you can remember all 11 picture clues, that each one links clearly to the next. When you're confident with your imagery tale, use it to write down the names of the 11 presidents for memory. Check that you still remember the 2 lists of 20 words. One began with television, the other with the word grass, and the 10-item shopping list. All the pieces of information should be there in their individual files. Already that's 60 pieces of data memorized with ease. UK Prime Ministers since the Second World War. Chamberlain, Churchill, Attlee, Churchill again, Eden, Macmillan, Douglas Hume, Wilson, Heath, Wilson again, Callaghan, Thatcher, Major, Blair, and David Cameron. Chamberlain, chambermaid, a woman cleaning hotel rooms, an officer managing the household of monarchs. Churchill, a church on a hill. Attlee, atelier, an artist workroom perhaps in the attic. Churchill, a church on a hill, someone is ill. Eden, Garden of Eden. Macmillan, using an unethical method to get power by employing a magnet 1 million times stronger. Douglas Hume, dough, leaving money in a glass at home. Wilson, leaving a will for a son. Heath, open land with heather and coarse grasses. Wilson, leaving more of a will for a strong-willed son. Callaghan, the call to draw the gun. Draw, son of a gun. Thatcher, someone covering the roof of a cottage with straw. Major, a big fat sergeant major. Blair, blah 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 blah, blubbermouth. Talks excessively, can't bear it. David Cameron, camera paparazzi.